Good morning. Welcome to the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission meeting at September 20th, 2013. My name is Jeff McMillan. I'm the chairman. At this time, I'm going to ask Harold Cannon to do our invocation.
Education. Director Carter, you may want to share the news about Gary.
Thank you, Commissioner. Many of you know Lieutenant Gary McWhorter had a long-standing battle with cancer for the last few years. Finally lost that battle yesterday. And Gary's services will be Saturday, but actually tomorrow, from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Sinking Creek Baptist Church, which is a Johnson City address in Johnson City and Elizabeth. And they'll receive friends from 3 to 6. The funeral service will be immediately following. And then on Sunday, September the 22nd at 2 p.m. at the Knowlson Cemetery will be a graveside service. Also make mention of Mark Ridings, another one of our employees who had an illness, unexpected illness about a week ago and is still in the hospital in very critical condition. We just ask that you remember both of those employees and their families.
We got a hurting family right now. Let's pray for them in addition to our regulars. Father, we're glad you're in control. We don't understand the ways things go sometimes, and it makes some of the stuff we're going to discuss today small, very small in comparison to what we have two families dealing with and what we have a Region 4 family dealing with. We thank you, you're a God of comfort. We thank you, you're a God of being present. And may each of us, and may each of those Region 4 family members and their direct families, may they embrace that presence. We thank you for the chance to be here today to deal with the things that have to do with your handiwork. May what we do bring a smile to your face. I ask for blessings for these families that are hurting. The McCord family who has truly lost a special, special man. Pray blessings on our staff, wherever they may be today. Would you keep them safe? And again, may they feel your presence and power this day. It's in Jesus' name that we do pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Harold. Appreciate that. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Barber to do a roll call, please.
Jim Bledsoe.
Here.
Harold Cannon.
Here.
Bill Cox.
Here.
Jeff Griggs.
Here.
Jeff McMillan.
Here.
Tom Rice.
Here.
Jim Ripley. Julie Schuster. Here. Clayton Stout.
Present.
James Stroud.
Here.
Trey Teague.
Here.
Jamie Woodson. David Watson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Has the commission had time to look over minutes from the August meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. So we have first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes. At this time, are there any announcements, Director Carter, that you have? Okay. Well, I want to welcome everybody that's come today to attend our meeting, and I know we have some guests, so I would like to ask that the pad that's going around, everybody sign. If you want to speak to us, you're certainly welcome. If you'll just come to the mic and present your name and state your interest, and if we can keep it to the committee that or information that we're dealing with at that time, that'd be great. So at this time, then we're going to we have some special presentations that Director Carter is going to do, and we'll move into that then.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I always take the opportunity to bring some of our employees who have had the opportunity to compete against other employees and risen to the point where we want to recognize them publicly for all the work that they do throughout the year. And we have done some fisheries presentations in the past. This year, we're going to concentrate on the wildlife, and I'd ask the Chief Radijak if he'd come forward to help make the presentation.
Thank you, Director. Oftentimes, myself or someone from the Wildlife Division comes up and gives presentations before the commission, and we need to understand that almost everything that we do within our agency relies heavily upon the folks in the field. And it's an honor and privilege to recognize those folks in the field for all the work they do. They truly are the boots to the ground, the key aspect of this agency, which helps make this agency function. And today I'm here to present 2 awards. We're giving out wildlife awards. We do this once a year. We give an award out to the Wildlife Technician of the Year. These are folks that are generally located on our wildlife management areas, and they truly are what keep those WMAs functioning. After I announce the Wildlife Technician of the Year, I will announce the Wildlife Biologist of the Year. And the 2 individuals recognized today both come from Region 4. And I will begin with the Technician of the Year. And this year's Technician of the Year goes to Wayne Ellison from Region 4. Wayne has been employed by the state of Tennessee since 1986 and is an outstanding employee. He's always ready and willing to accept additional responsibility and uses his work time wisely and efficiently. He has received a rating of 5, which is exceptional, for the past 10 years. He maintains his commercial driver's license and his chemical applicator certification. Wayne is eager to train and instruct other technicians when they are confronted with problems in his field of expertise and knowledge. In addition, there have been circumstances where area managers have contacted him for advice, especially in the fields of agriculture, equipment operation, and repairs. During managed hunts at Chuck Swan WMA, Wayne addresses a large number of sportsmen. He always presents the agency in an excellent manner, which has tremendous influence on the public concerning the perceptions of Chuck Swan Wildlife Management Area and the agency as a whole. Wayne's talents and certifications are varied considerably. He has attended diesel mechanic school. He's a certified auto body technician, welder, farmer, heavy equipment operator, and hunter and safety instructor. Wayne is an exceptional mechanic. Due to his talents in his field, he has saved the agency thousands of dollars over the past 5 years. During this short time, Wayne has performed repairs ranging from electrical system diagnostics and repairs to complete engine overhauls. All of the repairs he has made would be too lengthy to mention, but they include engine overhaul on 2 tractors, rebuilding the fuel injection system on 2 tractors, internal hydraulic system repairs on 3 tractors, transmission clutch repairs, air conditioning repair and replacement, brake system rebuilds, and final drive repairs. He has performed these major repairs on farm tractors and bulldozers from various wildlife management areas in Region 4. In addition, he has repaired tractors for John Sevier Range and from Buffalo Springs Hatchery. He has been called on for minor repairs so many times that they're too numerous to list. In all, it is approximated that Wayne has saved the agency over $75,000 in repairs in the last 5 years alone. Wayne's also very active in his community. He's an active board member for the Union County Farm Bureau, Union Farmers Cooperative, Union County Soil Conservation District, and East Tennessee Antique Tractor Club. Due to his associations in his private time, he is highly exposed to the public. He has projected and represented the agency in an extremely favorable way. This has produced tremendous support for the agency. He's also an active member of the National Wild Turkey Federation. He's currently the Vice President of the North Lake Longbeards chapter of the NWTF in Maynardville, Tennessee. He is the one responsible for saving the Union County NWTF chapter. The old chapter disbanded, but Wayne took on the responsibility of starting a new chapter in its place. He is very determined to turn this chapter around. The previous chapter normally generated around $4,000 at the yearly fundraising banquet. Due to Wayne's organizational skills and excellent public relations, the new chapter generated $24,000. He has also been instrumental in working with the NWTF to appropriate seed donations to offset the overall operational costs of Chuck Swan WMA. In conclusion, Wayne is an exceptional employee and representative of the TWRA both on and off the job. He's highly versatile and talented. The agency is extremely fortunate to have him as an employee, and he's very worthy of being named Wildlife Technician of the Year. Congratulations, Wayne.
Your wife needs to be a part of this. She makes it happen. Here we go. Good.
Technician show you how to do it.
That says all, no.
The tech show you how to do it.
Yeah. It cut it off. Well, that's the button you told me to. All right, I see the button.
I should have given you your award first.
I can run, operate ATV.
Well, John Mike was going to win the Biologist of the Year, but that's why we have technicians. So. Anyway, all right, the Biologist of the Year, it's my honor and privilege to recognize the Biologist of the Year for TWRA. And I'm going to read the nomination letter that was submitted by Pete Wyatt. Please consider the nomination of John Mike as the TWRA Wildlife Biologist of the Year. John currently oversees, directly or indirectly, 20 employees on 15 wildlife management areas. John goes the extra mile to see that training and certification needs are met. He has planned and coordinated the training and certification of all Region 4 wildlife non-commissioned personnel on shotgun safety, hog eradication protocols, use of personal protective equipment, and live shotgun qualification. The training resulted in 20 employees being trained to safely eradicate hogs. Recently, John has addressed problems regarding closed roads in Scott County and closed gates in key elk habitat units on North Cumberland Wildlife Management Area, as well as coordinated proposed hunter access roads in the Bumpus Cove section of the Cherokee WMA. John has also assisted the regional manager by collecting pertinent information for negotiations concerning the leasing of Tackett Creek property located in Claiborne and Campbell counties. The property is adjacent to the Sunquist unit of North Cumberland Wildlife Management Area, which will result in the possible addition of 43,000 acres under management of North Cumberland, making the total acreage closer to 197,000 acres. John has volunteered to provide his time to help in other important projects. He's recently coordinated manpower, tools, equipment, as well as assisted with several wildlife projects. Some of those projects include improving bog turtle habitat in Shady Valley on TWRA property and Tennessee Nature Conservancy property, creation of approximately 20 acres of savanna habitat at Buffalo Springs WMA, creation of shore bird management units at Kiker Bottom Refuge, construction on the Joaquin Bible Refuge unit of Lick Creek WMA, improvements of the Unicoi Heritage Museum Pat Alderman Nature Trail on the grounds of the Irwin National Fish Hatchery. Always willing to participate in agency projects, John has conducted mourning dove call counts in Scott County, trapped and banded mourning doves in Claiborne County, performed law enforcement duties by working at the Chuck Swan WMA during big game quota hunts, assisted District 41 in working boating on Norris Lake during the Fire on the Water fireworks event, provided guided tours of Hatfield Knob Viewing Tower to Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commissioners and to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Habitat Council. John also assisted in BioBlitz data collected of terrestrial species at the Rocky Fork section of Cherokee WMA, currently Rocky Fork State Park. He has also participated in the Hamlin County NWTF chapter Alan Ricks Memorial Jakes event held at the Region 4 office. He participated and helped coordinate Camp Dutch Oven events at the Campbell County Outdoor Recreation Association membership drive, the UT Wildlife Game Dinner, Lincoln Memorial University Game Dinner, and the NWTF Cora-sponsored Wounded Warrior Wheeling Sportsman event. John has also served as TWRA's representative at various meetings and banquets, including the Tennessee Valley Sportsman's Club and National Wild Turkey Federation chapter. He also attended the annual Tennessee Wildlife Society meetings and the annual Tennessee Herpetological Society meetings. John also measured whitetail deer antlers at a special sportsman banquet in Scott County to assist in raising money for court-appointed special advocates of Tennessee, which is a special group of court-appointed volunteer advocates that represent abused and abandoned children. John is a model professional wildlife manager. His knowledge, competent demeanor, and willingness to help in any way he can shows in all he does. John's contribution to the agency and wildlife resources of Tennessee is exceptional and deserves statewide and regional recognition. John, Mike, congratulations on Wildlife Biologist of the Year.
You trained him well, you deserve the credit.
As I started out saying about the different people who are competing for these, if that's the right word, I really do wish the commission had the opportunity to review all the nominations that come in. And when you see these folks and you hear what they've done, and you think there are people all over the state doing very similar things, it really makes you feel good, and we're just so proud to be able to honor these folks. And John, were you at the Knoxville meeting a month or two ago, whenever we had that? Anyway, I mentioned you. In the fact that this is the guy I was telling you about when Carter Davis was there, and I was saying Carter Davis has 2 last names and John has 2 first names. If we could ever got together, they could have both had normal names, but just kidding, John.
It was, matter of fact, we had one of the state representatives come to our staff meeting, and he was making fun of his name. His name is Tillman Goins. He said, I don't have no first name. I said, hey.
Well, thank you all for all you do, and I know you're representative of a lot of great people across the state. But anyway, yesterday we talked a little bit about Ducks Unlimited and the partnership that the agency has internationally and throughout the United States. A lot of times we talk about things on a more local basis. Last night, several of the commissioners were able to attend the Nashville rally of the Ducks Unlimited, one of the local chapters, and it just gives you an idea of what goes on all over the place. This morning, I wanted to talk about especially one of those, and do a little presentation. I'd asked Tim Cleveland, the regional manager in Region 2, to come forward and help us make that, but I wanted to show you that it's not only international, it's not only national, it gets down to the nitty-gritty and what we do on individual wildlife management areas and the partnerships that we develop, not only with Ducks Unlimited, but other people and other organizations who are equally as interested in the wildlife and wildlife habitat here in the state. So, Tim?
Thank you, Director. Richard Kirk is the program wildlife manager for Region 2, and Richard really wanted to be here for this special presentation this morning to say thank you to the Maddox Charitable Fund and to DU for all their work in getting this equipment for us in Middle Tennessee. Richard's father became ill last night. He lives in East Tennessee, so Richard left this morning. So you can keep him in your thoughts and prayers as he travels eastward. I guess it's probably been about 2 years ago when Chris Cole came to visit Richard and I here in the office, and we sat down in our small conference room in there. And I don't think Chris or Tim are here today, Tim Willis, but we want to say thank you much to those guys as well for DU. But Chris told us about the Maddox Charitable Fund and how it worked, and he basically asked us what do we need. And so Richard and I talked about it, and at the time, we really needed some heavy-duty pumps to help us be way more efficient on our WMAs for waterfowl management. And so we told them, we made our request, and DU wrote the grant, and through the Maddox Charitable Fund, they purchased this equipment for us. And Richard has a slide that basically shows the items that have been purchased since 2011 for our wildlife management areas, mainly in the northern part of Middle Tennessee. Just some really incredible, very efficient, very powerful pumps that allow us to pump water, in some cases on Haynes Bottom, up a 20-foot bank of the Cumberland River. Just some incredible stuff. They're purchasing a jet drive deck boat for us so we can move our ATVs and seeders and sprays, ATV sprayers around. And they are replacing the treads on our tracked tractor. The total amount for all of these to date is $130,000. And so we're just so very thankful to DU and to the Maddox Charitable Fund for all of these purchases. And today, from the Maddox Charitable Fund, Tommy Maddox and Kate Warwick and Khaki Warren are here, and I would like to ask them if they would come up, please. We would like to say a special thanks and give you a print that we have here. And then DU, Craig, is Craig Hilburn here? Okay, hey Craig, and if Craig could come up, and Dave Kosterski, I don't think Dave's, come on up. You guys could come up too. Thank you all very much.
John, can you step back?
Well, Director Carter made his first mistake of the day, Commissioners. He asked me if I had anything to say. So, he offered me the podium. So, no, I did want to say, just offer from Ducks Unlimited our sincere appreciation for Maddox Charitable Trust and the tremendous partnership that you've been for Ducks Unlimited and TWRA. The Maddox Foundation is very interested in conservation and for Central Tennessee, and it's just been a tremendous marriage. It worked very well. Our priorities, our interests align very well, and and then that partnership with TWRA just made it perfect. It's always a challenge to find funds in today's times. As budgets are tight for everyone, and to have a tremendous organization like Maddox committed to conservation in Central Tennessee has just been tremendous. And hopefully it's a partnership that's going to last for quite a long time. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the Maddox Foundation, and thank you very much for coming. One of the neat things about being on this commission, or one of the best things, is getting to meet people that have the same passion and love for the agency and for wildlife that we do, and you guys are very, very much appreciated, and congratulations to you and your family. So thank you very much for your hard, diligent work. At this time, we'll move to the Wildlife Management Committee. Trey Teague, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman McMillan. I'd like to introduce Darrell Redijak to discuss Proclamation 13-14, a WMA amendment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yesterday, before the Wildlife Committee, we presented Proclamation 13-14, which is an amendment to the WMA proclamation. And what this amendment does is we are requesting hunting seasons on the North Chickamauga Creek Varner unit. Recently, we have the agency and the commission has completed the construction of our first Moment of Freedom blind. This is a wheelchair accessible blind. And what we'd like to propose is a deer season, a deer archery season, turkey season, as well as waterfowl seasons on that wildlife management area specifically for this blind. The one thing to note is the hunting days are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. These are the off days when we typically have that unit open. And so the person hunting there in that blind on these days will pretty much have the whole tract to themselves. And so we come before the commission asking for the passage of Proclamation 13-14.
Commissioner McMillan, yesterday the Wildlife Committee voted and I recommend passage of Proclamation 13-14.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion? All right, we're ready to vote. That needs to be a roll call, doesn't it? All right, all those in favor of Proclamation 13-14 WMA amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Amendment carries.
The next order of business, we were intending to come before the commission with Rule 1660-1-14, which is a rule regarding the regulations on refuges, WMAs, and public hunting areas. We request that we delay the hearing, the rulemaking hearing for this rule until the December commission meeting.
Okay, so we're going to roll Rule 1600-01-14 to December, revisit it then, correct?
Correct.
Any questions? All right, so moved. Are you through?
Does anybody have any other business? I think we're finished with wildlife management. Thank you.
All right, we'll move to Fisheries now. Jim Bledsoe, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman McMillan. I'm Jim Bledsoe, Chair of the Fisheries Committee. I'd like to call Bobby Wilson to the podium to discuss Proclamation 13-12.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yesterday, we presented the proposed recommendations for 2014 commercial fishing regulations, and like I said, Proclamation 13-12.
Chairman McMillan, the Fisheries Committee voted and approved Proclamation 13-12. I so move it.
Do I hear a second? Second. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I've got an amendment, please.
Okay.
I move to amend the proclamation to delete the reference to upstream of mile marker 3 that closes commercial fishing.
Okay, so we have
On the Beach River.
on the Beach River. So we have a motion to amend Proclamation 13-12 by opening all water of the Beach River and no restrictions, correct?
Correct.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it. I think Bobby wanted to.
We're going to ask for discussion now.
Yes, the original proposal was, but before like last month, was to close it from Highway 69 bridge upstream. Could we go with that? Because that's a definite marker, and it's the riverine section from that point upstream anyway. If we go from Highway 69 bridge back to the mouth. That was the original proposal. We could include open to all commercial fishing.
That gives the enforcement a
Just-
benchmark to enforce by.
Okay. I'll amend my motion to that.
So are we square what the amendment is?
I'll second the amendment to his motion to allow it to the 69 bridge.
Okay. Is everybody straight with that? Any discussion? From the audience? Okay, then we're going to amend Proclamation 1312. We have a motion and a second as amended. I guess we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. You got anything else?
Chairman McMillan, that concludes the Fisheries Committee.
Thank you.
Chairman, I'm not sure we voted on the proclamation. I think we voted on the amendment, but not the proclamation.
No, I said as amended. I said, did I not? I said proclamation. Huh? We have to vote on the amendment first? Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me.
Chairman McMillan, let's reconvene the Fisheries Committee.
Whatever. Watch me like a hawk here. All right, so we're gonna have to we're going to vote on the amendment, and then we're gonna vote on the proclamation. All right, I have a motion to amend Proclamation 1312. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I need to state the amendment?
We're
We good?
changing the open waters to the 69 bridge.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, amendment carries. At this time,
Okay. Chairman McMillan, the Fisheries Committee moves Proclamation 13-12 as amended. It has been approved in the Fisheries Committee.
do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Proclamation 1312 passes as amended. Throw you under the bus next time.
Chairman McMillan, that concludes the Fisheries Committee once again.
Thank you, sir. All right. And we're going to roll right into the Budget Committee. No, excuse me, we do not. We're going to roll right into Boating and Law Enforcement. My fault. Harold Cannon, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Y'all got me disembodied.
We have two matters coming before the commission today. In a few minutes, Glenn Moats is going to give a report on boating accident. However, we do have a request for emergency rule regarding rules 16600207 rules and regulations governing operation of vehicles. This is being requested as an emergency action to facilitate TVA's construction efforts on the Cumberland River Mile 243, specifically at the fossil fuels plant. They're doing some environmental upgrades at the plant. Additionally, they'll be beginning construction on a hatchery that we will ultimately be taking responsibility for. The purpose of this action, and Glenn, I'll let you explain it a heck of a lot better than me, but we need to close portions of that waterway designated as work zone so as to assure public safety during construction activities. Glenn?
Yeah, you explained it well. This rule, like you said, would close the discharge channel. I'll show you a diagram of that in just a minute, but they're doing construction that would impact that channel and would cause safety concerns. This was, like you said, Commissioner, filed as an emergency rule.
I'm sorry, I need to read the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is a rulemaking hearing before the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission to consider adding emergency rules to Rule Chapter 1660-2-7, which deals with rules and regulations governing operations of vessels. My name is Jeff McMillan, and I will conduct the hearing. The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency staff will present information on the proposed rule. Commission members will be permitted to comment and ask questions. Members of the audience will be permitted to comment and ask questions. Staff members and members of the audience wishing to speak should identify themselves before speaking, and I reserve the right to limit comments and discussion, especially in cases of repetition. Sorry.
That's okay, thank you. This emergency rule would be in effect for 180 days. And what that would require us to do is come back and follow that up with a permanent rule. This construction is scheduled to last through the spring of 2016, so we would need to have a rule in place at least that long. After the construction is done, we would come back and ask you to repeal the rule, which would allow boat traffic back into the area. This is the wording on the rule. You can read that. Vessels are prohibited from entering the discharge channel at the TVA fossil plant near the Cumberland River Mile 243 is marked by informational buoys and barrier floats. And TVA would be the agency that would be maintaining those floats and those barriers. If you can see from this, the discharge channel, the mouth of it at the Cumberland River, just up to the fossil plant itself, that's approximately about a half a mile of waterway. And we do understand that this is a popular with striper fishermen in this area. It may be inconvenient for them while the construction's going on, but it is EPA mandated construction, and we feel like public safety is a priority here. That's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of this, and there will be some short-term inconveniences, but these are two great projects for the public. And in the name of public safety, I'd recommend approval of this emergency rule change.
Second.
Is there any discussion from the commission, from the audience? All right, we have a motion to pass rules and regulations government operation of vessels emergency rule 1660-02-07. I believe that'll be a roll call vote.
Jeff McMillan,
Yes.
Jim Bledsoe,
Yes.
Harold Cannon,
Yes.
Bill Cox,
Aye.
Jeff Griggs,
Yes.
Tom Rice,
Yes.
Jim Ripley, Julie Schuster,
Yes.
Clayton Stout,
Yes, ma'am.
James Stroud,
Yes.
Trey Teague,
Yes.
David Watson,
Yes.
Jamie Woodson.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, given that the boating season is wrapping up, with the heavy boating season, we thought it'd be appropriate for a brief report on boating accidents this year. Glenn, it's all yours.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to call our statewide boating accident investigator, Matt Majors, to come up. He's intimately more familiar with these stats and can probably answer your questions better than I can, if you have any, to give this presentation. So, Matt?
All right. Really quickly, got a few slides here for you. Just want to show you what our overall stats look like this year in comparative to some of the years in the past. Prior to getting into those numbers, I just want to let you know that these are what the Coast Guard considers reportable accidents. Now, our officers may respond to numerous waterway incidents, drownings, and other things that may not be Coast Guard reportable, but here are the things that we have to take a report on. We may take a report on multiple other things, but they, according to the Coast Guard, they may be non-reportable. So these are the numbers that you're seeing here. It's not the overall number of responses that we do. These are our 2013 totals, and these are up to date as of a couple of days ago. 18 fatal accidents resulting in 21 fatalities. We did have 2 incidents that occurred more than one fatality occurred, one of them being on Conestoga Creek in Polk County earlier in the year, and one of those on Reelfoot Lake. 76 injury accidents so far, 45 property damage accidents, resulting in over $2 million in property damage. Our property damage numbers will fluctuate anywhere from the low $300,000 or $400,000 mark on upwards into the multi-million-dollar range. Primarily, that hinges on how many marina fires we have, because you know in a marina fire we may have multiple losses of vessels. We've had 3 of those this year, so our total is somewhat high, for a total of 139 total accidents this year. This is just this year's data by body of water. As you can see, a lot of these lakes are what I would consider sick lakes. Some of these lakes may not have a fatality for a number of years, and then some of them, especially the ones in the more metropolitan areas, you can almost count on serious injury and fatality accidents there. But you can see where your particular area would rank out in these. These are the primary causes so far this year. As you can see, hazardous waters and alcohol impairment are some of our biggest ones. Our officers are very, very adept at tackling the alcohol impairment issue. However, the hazardous waters sometimes is not always under our control, but these are where we rank out so far this year. Just wanted to show up some 20-year totals. You can see the trends in what we're doing here. As you can see, about 2006, 2007, all of the numbers drop off a little bit, primarily being your total accidents. And one of the reasons there is there was some changes in what a reportable Coast Guard accident was during that time. The monetary value went from $500 to $2,000, so that ultimately eliminated a few of the reportable accidents that our officers were responding to and taking reports on. Our BUI arrests for this year, as you can see, 2013 may be a little bit lower than what you would expect if you're looking from the trend data in the previous years. However, I think we've got some good explanations for this. Our law enforcement program is doing very good. In talking to our officers in the field, they have told me, they said, Matt, we're starting to see sober operators, which makes me think that we've done some good with our enforcement efforts. Also, our participation in Operation Dry Water, which is a national campaign to remove intoxicated boaters, occurs the weekend before 4th of July weekend, has created a lot of media to let people know that drinking on the highway is certainly illegal, but drinking on the waterways is just as illegal, and we plan to tackle that as best we can. And it's in the essence of public safety is the reason we do that. Also, this year in particular, you noticed it's been cool, it's been wet. At some of our target times, we would actually be apprehending these operators. It's been raining or it's been really cool, so it hasn't been the perfect environment for these arrests, which I'm very thankful. We hadn't had to make as many, but on the other hand, I think our education and enforcement efforts has really ramped up some, so I think there may be some statistics hidden in there just a little bit. That's all I have. I'll open it up to any questions.
Any questions from the commission? Director Carter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to mention a couple of things. One that Matt said, the education and enforcement efforts have really worked hand in hand to do a really good job in lowering accident statistics, and it does cycle from year to year, just depending on a lot of different factors that go into the boating environment. But I also wanted to tell you that when he says we go to investigate a boating accident, that's not just filling out a form. It usually involves, in an injury accident or especially a fatality, it's going to be impounding boats. It literally gets down to measurement of scratches and cut marks and everything else all over the boat itself. In comparison to those, our people have gone through a number of intermediate and advanced accident investigation classes, and then the boating investigators even go to a higher quality of training than that until they get certified on the national level. Our people have taught at the National Transportation Safety Board Academy in Washington and have conducted things for Department of Transportation as well, so they're highly regarded in what they do, and I just wanted you to know that. And the other thing is that this year, through a grant that the boating division was able to secure, that we bought, for lack of a better word, an underwater robot that has been used in a number of accident investigation cases, not only for recovering different pieces of boat and equipment to help complete the boating accident investigation, but also in the recovery of some bodies of people who died in boating accidents. And while that's never a pleasant task in any way, it certainly has helped a lot of the families where in the past it may be as much as a month before a body is recovered, and everybody is in that length of time of not knowing how to have any closure. But several cases this year that the folks have gone in a matter of hours have recovered a body that otherwise may not have been able to do in any reasonable length of time. So I just want to to pass that on to you, that it really is more than filling out a form. It's a very structured and very intense level of investigation, because it has to stand up not only in criminal court, everything they do, but also through the civil proceedings that may last as much as 4 or 5 years. So anyway, I just wanted to pat them on the back and let you know that side of it as well. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Director Carter. Absolutely.
Thanks, Director Carter. But also I wanted to let you know that through some RBS grant dollars, recreational boating safety grant dollars, we were able to build for lack of better terms, a boating center that we tacked on to a piece of property at Stones River. So it was our facility to bring in boats, to analyze them, diagram them, and go through the investigation. And that was completed, when, Glenn, last month? At the end of August. And unfortunately, we had a pretty good high-profile fatality there at Four Corners Boat Dock that involved like a 37-foot boat and a 32-foot boat, and we were able to put these boats in our center, which was great. But so I just want to let you know, if anytime y'all want to come out and see our boating center, it's very high-tech. Got white floors, got our lightings in the wall. It's got some glass walls around the top for all that light to come in there, so we can do these investigations. So our boating center's open. We got boats in there, and then we just had one on Tim's Ford. We had to use a boat to pull over there. So anytime y'all want to come see our boating center, it's a pretty nice facility for investigations.
So,
Thank you, Chief.
question, is it dry? I mean, you put your boats in there when you're investigating?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty sharp.
What's the address?
It's out at Stones River,
Stones River, okay.
Hunter Education Center. So yeah, we'd like to show that off to y'all.
I think you're gonna have some folks visiting you real soon, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. One closing note, it's another one of those proud moments just across the state. I think this state leads the nation and our boating and boating enforcement efforts. What you all have done proactively, such as what we have at this center, is remarkable. And yet the weather helped us this year, no question about it. But I can assure you, because I was out with them, just because it's raining or just because it's cold does not mean our folks are not on the water. And they've done a great job of taking the education program that we have, but reinforcing it with their presence regardless of the weather. So my hat's off to our whole staff in making this thing successful. And I hope we have the same numbers next year, but I hope it's a lot sunnier, if you will. So thank you all. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Cannon. This time we'll move to the Budget Committee. Chairman Griggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, the Budget Committee would like to call Ken Tarkington, Chief of Administrative Services. Mr. Ken.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commission members, if you would look in your folder, you should find a 2-page financial report. I'll be reporting for the first month in this fiscal year through the month of July of fiscal year 2013-14. At the top of the page, the boating fund, from Finance Administration's viewpoint, has a 5.9% revenue or less. Collections are 5.9% less than they were the year before. I might add that, as usual, the collections come through the wildlife side. The revenue department at the agency has to transfer the funds to make sure that all the boat registrations get to the boat fund, the wildlife get to the wildlife fund. The actual amount is about 0.8% boats registration increase over the year before. So we would say it's break even, which is good news. Wildlife is the same way. Wildlife has an increase of sales this year through July over the same point in time last year. In boating, the expenses are a little less than 5% at 4.9% of the annual allotment. On the wildlife side, as I said, F&A reports 43% increase for July over the prior July. We're showing that it's about 13%, which is still sufficient, and it's followed all the way down through the middle of September. So sales are doing better in relation to last year. On the wildlife side, the expenditures are at 4.8% of the annual allotment. At the bottom of the page, the wildlife endowment has approximately $6,500 interest that's available for transfer, and the Sportsman Endowment has a balance of $35 million. At the top of the second page, the Wetlands Acquisition Fund, as of the end of July, has approximately $9.6 million. There's several obligations to that will draw that down some during the year. Maintenance, we've zeroed out as usual, and the compensation in lieu of tax, we've not yet paid the tax. As you recall, that usually occurs around the May timeframe of the fiscal year. Are there any questions or comments?
Any questions from the commission? From the audience?
Is there a wager?
No wager today, Mr. Cox.
I've got two questions. If the fiscal year was moved to July 31st, the $800,000 that we're up would have offset what we thought we were gonna be down at the end of June. Are we back kinda even again?
Well, we're even in boating
I'm talking about wildlife.
and wildlife.
Last month, we were $900,000 short.
That's one way of looking at it. Yes, sir.
Well, how do you look at it?
Well, what we're doing is basing our current year collections off what we collected last year.
Okay.
As we go through a point in time, we're comparing this year's against last year's. And if we say, okay, at the end of the year, we were 900,000 down, and the first month we're 800,000 up, then we could say we're getting close to
Okay.
chopping away at 900. But that's the way finance administration
I
looks at
understand.
it.
I'm just trying to make a point that
But we still are up.
yes. All right, on the acquisition wetlands, I don't see a deposit. Those deposits every month, or how much?
They're every month.
Are they coming up?
Oh, yes. The way finance administration handles it is that they put the collections that occurred as of June in June, although we don't see June's until August. So they accrue those back into June, if that makes any sense.
Right, I understand, but I don't see any numbers for deposits. I'm wondering if it's trending up.
It is trending up.
Okay.
But those deposits have been placed in last fiscal year, and that's one reason we have a $9 million balance to begin the year with.
Any more questions from the commission? Audience? Not. Mr. Chairman, back to you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Griggs. Is there any other business that we need to take care of today for the commission? Director Carter, do you want to address us? I don't blame you. Okay. All right. Well, our next meeting is October 17th and 18th. Kingsport, I believe, right? So, okay. That's awesome. All right. So if there's any other comments or questions, then we'll adjourn. Thank you.